Fern Creek, happy Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in for week 2 of Inspiration Tuesday. Hey, every week on Tuesdays, me and Rich will just be sharing with you a little nugget on how to be the church. You've probably heard us say, be the church, multiple times by now. And part of what we want to do this week is just talk about what the church is. What is the church? What's the role of the church? How do we be the church? And what in the world a disciple is. This week after our video will be the Zume training video talking about what a disciple is and what it means to be the church. What is the church? So we'd love for you guys to check that out. We will have conversations between Rich and I on a couple key things to just take away from that video. So make sure to tune in after that. But as you're thinking about this video, would you just answer a question in your mind? What is a disciple to you? What does it mean to be a disciple? And what is the church? Well, Rich, that was an awesome video. I really liked it. What are your initial thoughts about the Zume training video on how to be a disciple and what the church is?
You know, I really like the Zume training videos. They do so much to help equip us as the church to be the church wherever we are.
Right.
And that's the whole point, right? That we're trying to figure out how do we, if we can't be together in the church's building, how do we be the church wherever we find ourselves? And
Right.
Zume training helps a lot with that. One of the things that I really like about this particular video is that it helps us to talk about what is a disciple. And I think for the most part, we have generally just kind of left that undefined.
Right.
And so it's really important for us to be thinking about what that is. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought that this video was great for those of us that have wondered what the heck a disciple is our whole life. You know, for me, and I know a lot of people in our congregation probably feel this way, is nobody's really ever said this is what a disciple is. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of times in my life, I've always tried to complex that. One of the things I love about this video is like a disciple is simple. It's somebody that loves God, is loving people, and is making disciples. It just was simple, and that's what I love about Zume. They make things so simple.
Absolutely. And I think that those certainly are things that a disciple does, right? That we are people of the great commandment, love God, love people, and we're people of the Great Commission to go and make disciples. The way in which we've tried to talk about what a disciple is around here is that a disciple is indeed a follower of Jesus, somebody who follows Jesus, somebody who's being changed by Jesus. That is, that our whole being is wrapped around following Jesus and becoming more like Him. And what that involves is loving people and loving God, right? And then also being committed to the mission of Jesus. So a disciple is somebody who follows Jesus, is being changed by Jesus, and is committed to the mission of Jesus. And the mission of Jesus is making more disciples. And that's what we want to be about. And that's why we're trying to figure out how to have these Inspiration Tuesdays where we can seek to help equip more disciples to be disciples wherever we're at, right?
Yeah, I just loved how simple they made it and how they were able to express that if we're going to be the church, we have to know that the church is made up of disciples. Mm-hmm. And if that is the case, then we have to know what a disciple is and how we make disciples. So Zume comes with so much material that is really great. One of the things I loved about this video is that it explained to us 3 different churches.
Yeah.
And before I had even watched this video, I asked myself, what do I think church is? What is the church? How do I describe that? Yeah. And I know for a lot of us, we said maybe 1 or 2 things. And the fact that they pointed out, there are 3 different churches. There's a universal church, there's a regional church, and there's a home church. Why don't you share with our people a little more about what that is and what that means for the church?
Yeah, it's such an important understanding. As we think about the church, when we say Fern Creek Christian Church, a lot of folks are going to be thinking, well, that's the building that is on the corner of Seatonville and Bardstown Road, right? Well, as the video pointed out, it's not the building, it's the people. And we've been talking about what that means for quite a number of weeks, months, or years here as part of Fern Creek Christian Church. The church is the people, not the building. Well, it's not just the people who meet here, though. there's the universal church, the followers of Jesus all around the planet throughout all of the centuries. That's the universal church. The regional or city church is the one that meets for us in this particular building. This is the church's building, right? Fern Creek Christian Church on the corner of Seatonville and Bardstown is the church's building. That's where the regional or city church meets. But it's that community that comes together not to consume a worship service or not to consume a Bible study, but to be equipped to be the church, these simple churches or home churches, wherever we meet. So the church that's been meeting on Sunday mornings in various homes, that is our various simple churches, our home churches, are meeting in our homes right now because of this COVID-19 thing. But we are the church, that is the regional or city church, that meets here in the building at Seatonville and Bardstown. And so we exist, that is when I say we, being the regional church, to equip our simple churches to be church throughout Louisville and beyond, really beyond.
And that is so important for us to understand for God's kingdom and for the gospel to be reached to all nations.
Absolutely.
Equipping must happen.
Absolutely.
Our staff and even staff across the country is far too small to reach the world.
Yeah.
And so that's what our goal and our mission around here is to equip the church to be the church.
Absolutely.
To be disciples that make disciples. So that's why I love Zoom A training. I love this conversation that we're having of just hearing stories and conversations that are happening between people in our congregation and in our community of how they're being the church.
Absolutely.
And it's just so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And anybody that wants to actually go through the entire Zoom A training certainly can do that. Just go to zoomaproject.com and just register and then just go through the entire set of videos that are there. It's a great way to equip your family or your family and your neighbors just to come around and be the church together. And that's what we want to accomplish as staff here at Fern Creek Christian Church, is we want to figure out how do we help equip you all simply to be the church wherever you're at. So church, let's be the church and let's be equipped to be the church so that we can indeed lift up Jesus, honor him, but pull more people into the kingdom by lifting up Jesus and letting him draw people to himself.
Hey, thanks for being with us today. We'll look forward to being with you guys on Sunday to celebrate.
Amen.
And back here again on Tuesday for another Inspiration Tuesday. So have a great week.
Absolutely.
See ya.
We'll see you.